Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Storm coming from Team Shadow Strike, and I know it has been a long time since you've seen anything from me. I apologize for that, and I also want to apologize for one other thing. I said that I was going to be providing you guys with some videos while I was at Houston. There was a problem with that, and here's what it is. When I was at Houston, guys, keep in mind we left from literally the parking lot of our locals at somewhere between 12 and 1 o'clock that afternoon, and literally drove 12 hours to Houston. And we got to the tournament, we got to our hotel at 12:30 that night. And this was on not really stopping to have lunch. This was literally drinking things that we bought pre the trip, or stopping at gas stations, never really having anything real to eat, and we never really charged the camera because we thought we were going to get there around 8 o'clock, but then we had some problems with my friend's car who drove. Well, we drove his car, but I also helped out driving, but that's not the point. So it took us longer to get there than expected, and that's fine. It's part of it. Things happen. I understand, and I'm not complaining in any way. I had a magnificent time, and I would do it again tomorrow in the same place. If we had the resources to do it again, I would not even think for a second, and I think provided that my other two teammates, Christian Obermiller and Sam Carlton, were free and could do it, I think they would jump at the opportunity to do it and would not think twice. By the way, Sam and Christian, if you do see this video, please, in the comment section below, especially the two of you, say something in the comment section regarding anything that happened there, just to show them that you had a great time, or if anyone else who traveled with us, please put something in the comment section of this video. I would greatly appreciate that. Now, when we got to the tournament hall, we found out that we would not be able to, at the end of the day anyway, to film inside or around the venue because it is forbidden by Bushiroad. And I completely understand why. It's to protect player privacy. Other games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, they really don't care. You go to a YCS and there's people videotaping things all over the place. So I just assumed it would be the same way. So my bad, guys. Now, when we got to Houston at 12:30 in the morning, guys, there was one of our guys who had literally been up since 8 o'clock that morning because he had work the night before, and he was dead tired. So when we got to the hotel, he literally went into his room, fell on the bed, and went to sleep because we were going to have to get up at about 6:45, 7 in the morning that morning to get a shower, have breakfast, and then literally walk across the street to go to the venue. So he goes to bed. That was my friend Aaron, and the other 6 of us were like, we're hungry. I mean, 5 of us. We were like, we're hungry. We have been in a car for 12 hours. We really haven't had anything real to eat, and it just so happens that about 300 yards from our hotel, there was a Denny's. So we literally walked from our hotel to Denny's. We literally went upstairs, took our key card, opened our hotel room, walked in, dropped our stuff on the floor or on the bed, and literally used the bathroom, and then walked across the street to Denny's, and sat there and literally just here. Had a good dinner. I had me a big chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes. I mean, I was just hungry. I know it's not healthy to eat a big meal before you go to bed, but at that point, I didn't really care. I hadn't had anything to eat that day except we had like fruit snacks, we had chips, we had hand things that you can eat in a car. So, I mean, you can pretty much imagine what we'd been eating. Nothing that is nutritionally healthy for you if that's all you're eating, and the only thing we had to drink was, water, Capri Suns, and pop. So we really didn't have, and plus, for anyone who has been on a long car journey, like 12 hours in one day, you can agree with me saying it's not easy. So anyway, after that, we literally went upstairs, And I played one practice match with my friend Zane, and then we went to bed. And we slept for about 4 or 5 hours, and then we got up after traveling 12 hours to go to the venue. And I am not complaining, guys. I hate getting up early, but when I'm getting up early to do something I love as much as Vanguard, I do not care. It's like I am not a morning person by any means, guys. If any of you were to spend a night with me and then you wake up or come in contact with me first thing that early in the morning and I'm not doing anything that I love exuberantly and feverishly or whatever you want to put behind it as Vanguard, I am somewhat of a not pleasant person to be around in the morning. I hate getting up. I love to sleep, guys. And I don't mean sleep all the time, but I enjoy sleeping. I enjoy literally getting in that perfect position to rest and just feel all the stress of the day just fall off you. And then when my alarm goes off and it's saying, "Hey, you got to get up now. That relaxation's over." It just doesn't hit me right. It never has. It's been the same way all 22 years of my life, and it will probably continue to be as long as I shall live. But that lasted for about 5 minutes, and it ended the second I sat up and I said to myself, I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm going to spend the day doing something that I love a lot. So, took a shower, and then we went downstairs and we had breakfast. We stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn that was literally right across from, literally within 300 yards of the front door to the hotel. So we didn't have to drive, so this made it really good. And really great hotel, by the way. And went and got in line. We had to change. Originally, I told you guys that my friend Ryan was going to be going with me and Christian, but he couldn't make it. So Sam filled in. And everything going through this tournament, I really didn't leave my home on the best of terms with someone else. Having to deal with another stressful situation shortly beforehand, part of me, was putting on a brave face for my friends because we had planned this for so long, and I really didn't want to a day before just say, I'm not going to go, period, because it wouldn't have been fair to them. I am proud to say that after being in Houston and being with my friends for the instant we got there, that all went away. The people I traveled with to Houston are some of my best friends, and I love them to death. And I think this trip did nothing but grow us closer together. But when we checked in, I'll show you what we got. This was my badge at the venue. I was a member of Team 053, and then the only difference between Christian and Sam's badge is Christian's was red and it was 053B, and Sam's was yellow and had a 053C. The A being the captain. You got this, and then depending on whether you were an invader or a defender, you received a badge. And then you got this really cool Bushy Road lanyard, and you wore it like so. And we wore this the whole time we were at the tournament, and that way everyone could see that, I thought this was a really cool idea. I really do. And I really enjoyed it, and this is something that I will always remember. I am proud to say, for those of you who may not have heard of how well we did, me and my two friends, Christian Obermiller and Sam Carlton, representing Shadow Strike, through the first 6 rounds of Swiss, we went 5-1. The way it worked was you literally on pairing saw Team 053 is going to face Team 092, and you sat down, and I sat across from someone, and then right next to me, Christian would be sitting right across from someone, and right next to him, Sam would be sitting right across from someone, and we each had played one game against the person that was in front of us, and we had 20 minutes to do so. So it was kind of like best 2 out of 3, and then whichever side won more games at the end won the round. And we did not lose our first round until round 4, and then we went on to win rounds 5 and 6, and we were one of the 8 teams that made top 8 at this tournament, and it was the best feeling ever. I have been to a lot of not card fight Vanguard. I've been to a lot of major tournaments with Yu-Gi-Oh before, regionals. I've been to a couple of nationals. I've been to 2 or 3 YCSs, and I have to say, I have never been to a more positive tournament trading card game experience in my life. I enjoyed it. It might have had something to do with the fact that I did top 8 in my very first major Vanguard tournament. It was it was awesome, guys. I had a lot of fun. I would, with, no complaints with my teammates. Christian's innovation with Dimensional Police, being able to take a deck that some people I've actually heard literally have said flat out sucks, and make it as threatening as it is, guys. I mean, Christian, he always gives me such a hellacious time to beat him. He is so good, and when he is locked in and focused, he is literally one of the best card fighters I know. I'm proud and honored to call Christian probably my best friend. He he looks at life with such a positive manner. It is almost hard to not like him. Um, I've been compared to Toshiki Kai a lot by a couple of my friends at Alien, and he's my Miwa. At times when I'm very upset, or I'm just not, there, or I'm kind of lost in myself, or I'm upset, he's that one guy who can literally just, I don't know what it is, he can just talk to me, and all of a sudden I feel instantly better. And then there's Sam. I met Sam about a year ago, and he is a very amazing individual. He was in the Army, and anyone who, in my opinion, whether they see combat or not, that is willing to raise their hand and fight for their country, is incredibly noble and courageous, in my opinion. And I don't know if I ever told Sam this, so Sam, if you're watching this, please know that I respect the hell out of you for that, and I look up to you as a friend, because you were willing to do that. Sam as a player, though, guys, he's probably one of the top. No, let me rephrase that. He is definitely one of the top 3 fighters at our store. I think now it's synonymous. I think the top 3 fighters at my shop is clearly me, Christian, and Sam because of our performance. But I think even before this, it was clear that Sam was an amazing player. He took a clan, he played Great Nature, and I guarantee you at least 1 to 2 of his opponents, when they sat down and they saw him flip over a Great Nature starter, at least out of the 6 opponents in Swiss, maybe 2 of them probably thought, this round may not be so bad, and he took Leopold reverse deck and made it a true nightmare. And I'm gonna have him do a deck profile for the channel for you guys, so you can see that. I played my Chaos Breaker Dragon deck. It is not the exact same profile that is on my channel. I did not do an updated deck profile of it because I did not want to spoil it and give it out before the tournament, because I didn't want anybody who may have seen it and then recognize me at the venue and then know what I'm playing exactly. By the way, let me reference this. There was one person who came up to me. I am terribly sorry. I do not remember your name. He was a very kind person. He was wearing a WWE Daniel Bryan yes, 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 yes shirt. I had a very pleasant conversation with him. He was a very nice guy. I hope to see him again someday. I hope to somehow come in contact with him again. He was a very, very good kid. And I hope I get the opportunity to trade, card fight, converse with in some way in the future. So if that person happens to watch this, please know that you coming up and telling me that you enjoy my videos, you enjoy my channel, it truly means a lot. So thank you very much. Overall, guys, but my 2 teammates, they were amazing. I owe everything to them. I was so proud to be standing with those 2 guys at that tournament and doing as well as we did. And I think I speak for them when I say that they had a blast too, and they wouldn't have traded it for anything. I mean, we top 8'd. There's not much else you can complain about. Now, granted, there were a couple of things that did go on during top 8 that we weren't fans of, and I'm going to explain those really quickly. Before Top 8 began, they did deck checks. Now, what that means is when you start a tournament like this, when you register, you are given a deck list sheet, and what you have to do is literally write your name and all kinds of other information. But the main thing is you're writing out every single card that is in your deck, the quantity, the grade, and the set number that it came from. And if you have two different rarities of a card, like if you have an SP version of a card, you have to write down the set number for that, and then you have to write down the set number for the other rarity as well. The one, like for me, I have 3 copies of the SP Starvader Radon, so I had to write out 3 of the promo Radons from the BT13 extra BT13 booster set, where you could get it as an SP, and then I had to write out the trial deck one as well. Now, what they did is, when I do a deck profile for you guys, or when anybody does a deck profile, they will assort their cards in grades and quantities. Meaning, here's all my grade 0s, and it goes starter, all my criticals, all my draw triggers, all my heal triggers, and here's all my grade 1s, and they're assorted by quantity, and so on. Well, what they did is, after they confirmed that my deck list had matched the deck that I had used, they asked me to change the second layer of my sleeves, which none of them were torn, but they were old. They were kind of sticking to each other a little, I guess. The judge told me it's literally just to make sure no one gets their panties in a bunch over it, which I completely understand. He said it's mainly just to eliminate the possibility of anyone saying that you're trying to gain an unfair advantage, is how the way the judge explained it to me. And I told him, I said, well, I reached into my bag and pulled out a second layer of another sealed package of second layer sleeves. And by that I mean all my cards, they have a sleeve on them, and then they have a second layer on them. And I just changed the second layer of all my sleeves out. And, no big deal. I came prepared. So then after that, he literally took my grade 0s, put my grade 1s on top, put my grade 2s on that, and then put my grade 3s on that, and he literally shuffled for like 5 or 6 times, and then walked me to the table that I was going to be sitting at, along with my teammates Christian and Sam, for our top 8 matchup, handed me the deck, and then we were supposed to start. Now, for any of you, those who know, when you split a deck out like that, and you assort cards by their quantity and their grade, and if you just put them on top of each other and you give it like 1 or 2, 3 shuffles, or however many he gave, it's not going to be equivalent, and it's not going to be completely randomized. And I wish we would have had 5 to 10 minutes to shuffle, split shuffle, I don't know what you call that, where you put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you just shuffle, split it out like that, and then shuffle small piles in together regularly just to completely randomize the deck. I wish we were given 5 to 10 minutes of that, because guys, through 6 rounds, it was only 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30, something like that, and they acted like they were like, shuffle, get to your table, let's go. I don't know if it was a time restraint on how long they had it, but I know they had it the next day for a buddy fight thing, so I really didn't think time would be of the essence. But so that was a complaint, because literally when I drew my opening hand for my first game, it was the first 3 cards off the top of the deck was Infinite Zero Dragon, Infinite Zero Dragon, Infinite Zero Dragon, grade 2, and a heal trigger or something like that. And then I literally kept one of the Infinite Zeros, my grade 2, shuffled 3 back, and I fortunately got my grade 1, which I was really, really worried about. So I got my grade 1, I'm like, fine, I'm set. But I wish I would have been given 5 to 10 minutes to randomize my deck. That way it wouldn't have been stacky, because if you do that and then you barely shuffle it at all, you're going to have two copies of a card together, or you're going to have literally all your triggers in like one section of the deck, and it's just not... It's not fair, but that's not the right term. When you play a card game, your deck needs to be completely random and randomized and shuffled and mixed up to ensure that both players' decks needs to be that way, I might add. That way, both players are on equal grounds. So I wish we would have had 5 to 10 minutes to do that. Another thing that really got to me is there were all these tables in this room And on this one side of the room where all the, like, there were like 15 tables, they made the top 8 teams sit at 2 of them. And they crammed us in together. Now, the problem I have with this is I was literally elbow to elbow with Christian on my right and some other person on my left, and I'm right here. Okay, this is top 8. It's a little nerve-wracking, I wasn't nervous because I believe in my playstyle, but butterflies are general in big things like this. You're holding your hand, and you gotta think, and there's literally a judge, like, see where the top of this chair was? There was a judge there. I could almost literally feel him breathing down my neck, and then when I, like, tried to adjust myself in my chair, or just kind of, like, move my shoulder, just kind of stretch because I was so crammed, I could touch him, and it's like I almost wanted to go, dude, can you please back off? I understand that judges are going to watch the top 8 because those are the crucial rounds of the tournament that are going to determine the winner, but don't get so close to the players they can literally feel you breathing on them. Also, at one point in the game, I use a card in my deck called Demonclaw Starvader Lanthanum, and at one point, my opponent had one locked unit, and then Chaos Breaker was my Vanguard, and I used Chaos Breaker's skill to lock one unit, and then I used Dusttail Unicorn to lock another unit. So I had 3 units locked on my opponent's side of the field. And since Lanthanum I had called after the first unit was already locked again in my opponent's end phase with Palladium, I wanted to make sure that both me and my opponent knew that Lanthanum will only be receiving the 2,000 power-up bonus for 2 of those cards that were locked while he was on the field. So I took a dice, a regular 6-sided dice, and I put it on 2 to represent he received the boost twice, so me and my opponent would know, and that way there would be no confusion or no misinterpretation of how many times he received that effect. And guys, when I picked that dice up and I placed it on that card, I may as well have pulled out a gun. The judge who was across from me behind my opponent went, whoa, 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 what's that? Did you ask him if you could do that? And even my opponent went kind of like, dude, calm down, it's a dice. I don't understand why that was such a big deal. I don't. There is no way you can use a dice in this game where dice plays absolutely no role as of yet. There is no card in this game that asks you to roll a dice. None. So I don't see how a dice can make either player gain any kind of advantage. So the way this judge reacted was stupid. And it was really hard for me to not look at him and just go, dude, calm down. And also, with the paper playmats that you get in trial decks, we were forced to use those. Because the mat I was using was... The mat I used in my first 6 rounds was this. And it has the Vanguard style on it. But it is not licensed by Bushiroad, and I heard they weren't enforcing that, because honestly, I don't understand why it matters that I use a mat that was sponsored by Bushiroad. I mean, I really don't. I think that is stupid. Anyway, we had to use those paper mats. Now, I have other mats that come from Bushiroad. I actually have a Chaos Breaker one, an Alfred one, and a Tetra one, but honestly, guys, I don't like those small mats. I don't like having my deck here, my drop zone here, and my drop zone being so close to one of my rear guards, and then here's another rear guard, my Vanguard, my other rear guard. I mean, your Vanguard and your rear guards are like that far apart, and then your Guardian Circle and your Vanguard is that far apart, and then your damage zone is literally this big. I do not like that. I like this mat because it gives me space, I have plenty of room, and I do not lay my deck like that on my mat. I lay it like this, vertical. So if I was playing, you would not see the mat like the deck like this. You would see it like this. I do that so when I go to draw a card, I can do this, lift up to where my opponent can't see it, place it down like flat, and then I pull it to me so it prevents the cards from sticking. That way my opponent knows for a fact that I am not double drawing. That way also if the layers are starting to stick, if I notice that one is kind of stuck, you see how you can see that kind of peek over? I can do something like this, where I can then like ensure that only one card is equipped, that I'm only picking up one card and not multiple. That, I just like having room on my mat. I hate feeling like I'm being, I'm not a claustrophobic. I just hate feeling like I'm being crowded and I don't have enough room. I like to be spaced out. I like to have enough room to play the game. The only other thing that really ticked me off is, okay, guys, right here on this is the deck zone. On those paper mats up here, there's a little box, and it's called the trigger zone. Now, they wanted us, when we did our trigger checks, to literally place the card there. Now, some of you might be going, well, you should. That's what it says. Well, my point is, normally what I do, like when I do I don't know why I rolled this up. When I do mine, I normally put them up here, and they're vertical. Like right here, And the first time I did it, when I literally did a drive check, I revealed it and then flipped it over onto the mat right here. And when I did that, the judge was like, you need to put it in the trigger zone. That's a warning. Next one, you're disqualified. And I don't see the point in it. If both players know what's drive checked, saw what kind of trigger it is, the effect was carried out properly and by legal rules of Bushiroad, then I don't see the problem. If both players are aware of what's going on. If it's a draw trigger, when you place it face down, give the power, draw, and then do the second one. But they literally wanted you to reveal, check and see if there's a trigger, pick it up, do the other one, and then do that. And then earlier when I did it their way, flipped it over, put it in the trigger zone, then flipped over another and put a second card in the trigger zone with it. They were like, no, you have to do it one at a time. That is your last warning. I felt that some of these judges were throwing their weight around just because they could. And, coupling this with everything else going on, it is not the best environment to play in. Now, we did lose in top 8, and I am not blaming that on the judges. It did not help, but I wish, I understand judges are going to watch your matches, and they should in top 8, in my opinion. But they're there to make sure that they don't catch a player cheating, whether or not there is a question in rulings, that they're literally right there. I don't feel that medial things like where the drive check goes, as long as both players know what's going on, matters. If a player uses a dice to keep track of boosts from an effect. Another thing, how, like, right here's your Guardian Circle? At one point when I used my Perfect Guard, I played it vertical in the Guardian Circle, and when I discarded the cost, in other words, discarded a card from my hand to activate the Perfect Guard, he said, it needs to be sideways. Next time you do that, it's a disqualification. And it's like, really? What is the difference? That it has to be sideways or vertical? It was just things like this that really ticked me off. And then when I wanted to leave, after these bogus judges, after I lost, I was mad simply because I did make a couple of mistakes because, there was a part of me that was literally just so focused on doing the things that they wanted that it literally threw me off just a tad. But also, I wasn't drawing well because, again, my deck really wasn't that randomized. But, we did get through 3 games. I just wish my deck would have been more randomized. And I'm not complaining. I had a blast. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I would have loved to go farther than top 8, but you know what? It surpassed my expectations. I just wish the judges wasn't as I don't know what the word is. I wish the judges wouldn't have made as big of a fuss over the drive checks, the dice, and literally weren't so close to me when I'm trying to play. And I would have liked, the top 8 teams. Okay, there's 8 tables there. Put 2 teams at a table. That way, there's a couple spaces in between both teams. That way, we have plenty of room to play, and there were plenty of judges. They could have assigned 2 judges to each game. It would have just seemed like it would have been a better playing environment for everyone. That's just my opinion. Now, please no guys, I am not mad in any way anymore. I was mad for a short time after I left, because I felt the way that they treated the play, at least my group during that match, of how strict they were being of where the drive check has to be, no dice, and things like that. It literally just it seems so medial and pointless to get that mad as they did. So it really ticked me off. So, anywho, guys, after the tournament, we went to a nice steakhouse. We went and swam in the hotel pool. We came back. We went down in the lobby and hung out with some of the other players. I met all kinds of fun players. I loved them all. They were very kind. They were fun to hang out with. It was sad that we had to leave, but honestly, I was happy to, when I came home last night. I was going to make this video then, but guys, when we got home at 12:30 back home, and when I drove home from my shop, I got home at 1:30, and I was just tired, guys. I didn't have the energy to do this video, and I apologize. I wasn't able to do player interviews or anything like that for you guys. I really wanted to, but since Bushiroad later told us that you're not allowed to videotape anything of the event, that was kind of a bummer, so I'm sorry I wasn't able to do that for you guys. I will continue to do videos for you guys because I love doing it. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my my basic, quick, well, not really quick, but well, it was quick compared to how long this weekend was. Synopsis of my trip to Houston. I'm very grateful that I got to go. I'm very happy that I went. I had a blast. I'm also very I'm also very happy for my teammates, and I'm glad that I got to play with 2 people who I admire so much, and I'm glad that we top 8'd. It was an amazing feeling, guys. I don't know how to explain it, but when you work so hard at something that is, in the end, really not that important as a card game, and you hear that you are top 8 out of almost 300 players, it really means a lot. It's like, wow, that's cool. Sam, Christian, congratulations to the both of you, and thank you for being my teammates and my friends. Thank you to all my YouTube followers and subscribers, whatever you want to call it. And thank you for your continued support. And always, guys, feel free to give me suggestions on any videos that you want to see. I'll be more than happy to do it. I will be doing a deck profile on my Chaos Breaker top 8 deck profile from Houston. And I will also be doing those on Christian and Sam next weekend at my locals. I think that is it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this, and please if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me, and I'll see you guys later.